Kuzu Zangpo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program with me, Sonam Rinchen. Our top stories this week. The ambassador of Egypt and Poland presented their credentials to His Majesty the King. The 9-day-long Drakmar Drupchen in Hlinsi presided over by His Holiness the J. Khenpo ended, and Her Majesty the Gyaltsen launched the Gesar Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences of Bhutan, an autonomous university mandated with the conduct of education and training program in medical and health sciences. The ambassador of Egypt and Poland presented their credentials to His Majesty the King. Hatin Tagildin is the new ambassador of Egypt to Bhutan. He has a Bachelor of Commerce and joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1989. He concurrently serves as the ambassador of Egypt to India. Prior to his current appointment, he was the Deputy Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs. And Poland's ambassador to Bhutan is Tomasz Lukaszuk. He has been working in the Foreign Ministry since 1992. Ambassador Lukaszuk graduated with honors from the Faculty of Oriental Studies at the Institute of International Relations in Moscow. He has extensive experience in working abroad. His Majesty the King granted an audience to the Indian Foreign Secretary, Dr. S. Jaishankar, last Sunday. This is Dr. Jaishankar's first official visit abroad after assuming the post of Foreign Secretary in January this year. Prior to his current appointment, he served as the Indian ambassador to the US. He also received an audience from His Majesty the Fourth to Gyalpo. Dr. Jaishankar has more than 3 decades of diplomatic experience. He joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1977. The 9-day Drakmar Drupchen in Hlinsi ended on Thursday. Thousands of devotees received blessings from His Holiness the J. Khenpo. The Drupchen is to mark the 60th birth anniversary of His Majesty the Fourth to Gyalpo and His Holiness the J. Khenpo. At the gathering, His Holiness also talked about forest fires. Pamphlets were also distributed among the people to create awareness on forest fire. The crowd was also entertained with various songs and dances. Her Majesty the Gyaltsen launched the Gesar Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences of Bhutan. The Gesar Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences of Bhutan is an autonomous university mandated with the conduct of education and training program in medical and health sciences. The academic strategic vision 2030 of the university was also released last Saturday. The Faculty of Nursing and Public Health, formerly known as the Royal Institute of Health Sciences, Faculty of Traditional Medicine, formerly known as the National Institute of Traditional Medicine, and the Postgraduate Medical Education Center are the institutes affiliated to the university. Also, the only private health institute in the country, Reldi Academy of Health Sciences in Phuntsholing, is also affiliated with the Gesar Gyalpo University of Medical Sciences of Bhutan. Prime Minister suggested the Works and Human Settlement Ministry to focus more on providing access to adequate potable water supply in all the Tromdaes and Dzongkhags. The Ministry of Works and Human Settlement presented that plans to provide safe drinking water is ready for 21 urban towns out of 22. As per the Cabinet's directives, the Ministry of Labour and Human Resources is in the process of developing implementation modalities to provide incentives to Bhutanese construction companies. The incentive is to directly award the contract works without having to bid for if all the employees in a company are Bhutanese.
The ministry has identified the construction companies as one of the potential sector for employment in the country. The proposed program to provide incentive will be implemented to make the construction sector attractive, intensify the employment in the construction sector, and reduce the large number of expatriate workers. The incentives for the contract work will be awarded to the companies for the construction of houses, bridges, and roads only. The Labour Minister, Nyima Sangye Chimpo, said there is enough budget and national workforce readily available for construction-related works. Limpo said it could really benefit the country if the construction sector could employ more than 5,000 national workforce, as there are more than 22,000 expatriate workers at present. At the moment, the ministry has requested the private companies to submit expression of interest to take up the proposed program. Whenever there is any work, the ministry will ask the interested companies to put up the proposal. The Labour Ministry will ensure that work permit to employ non-nationals is not approved for the compliance. The quality of the work will be strictly monitored by the government agencies. Implementation of this proposed program is expected to take about 3 months.
Chale jachenga chi rubi mi tsugo se some anzum nanda bachin achi tsa giu be ma chu mi da to ngaralu rubi mi yu
Jachale jashade at lahata unumela. The Kachimsa watching the Tinalu Totona Kaba Mahipchidu, La Mahipchidu, Mula.
The Labour Ministry says that if no private companies are interested to take up the proposed program, the ministry will look at collaborating with the Construction Development Corporation Limited and form youth groups to take up this program. Those youth groups will be supported through the Direct Employment Scheme. Chetan Dupchu, PBS News.
Bhutan will not be able to hold its second population and housing census this year. This is because there was no clear directives and resource commitment from the government for the conduct of the survey. The issue was highlighted during the mid-term review of Annual Performance Agreement.
The National Statistics Bureau was supposed to conduct the population and housing census survey this year. The groundwork to conduct the survey was completed in April 2013 and the project documents were submitted to Gross National Commission in September in the same year. The questionnaires and manuals for the survey have been already prepared.
But to go back, in the 2000 round, the only 26 countries, areas had not conducted census and Bhutan was one of them. UN standard follow baby. Only we have done one and only in 2005.
According to NSP, it was important to have updated statistics to get clear socio-economic scenario in the country. NSP said government had no budget even though the survey was included in the 11th five-year plan. The survey is expected to cost the government coffer around $3.6 million. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Sringtopge said there is need to do census every once in a while in the case of Tromdes like Thimphu and Phinseling as there are large movement. Lenchen said in Geos, information are available anytime, so there is luxury of not doing it once in every 10 years. Lenchen, however, said the matter should be looked into.
Population housing census day. Ani bewachin member bera begowa. Beodalu machigi zonkagi lamlu sapchi zodu, can that be incorporated or not? If it can be incorporated, then population housing census ki strategy as kisona asishuni. If it can be incorporated, man. If it cannot be incorporated, then you have to go ahead with your zero draft census to implement it.
Lenchen, however, informed the NSP to get back to him immediately to discuss from where to get the budget in case NSP plans to conduct the survey throughout the country. Chetan Dupchu, PBS News.
Renew and Rakso is the first two non-governmental organizations to receive a grant of nearly $200,000 from Japan. It is under the Japan's grant assistance for grassroots projects. So far, Japan has been assisting the government in constructing bridges and schools, among many others.
Renew or Respect, Educate, Nurture and Empower Women received $100,000. The grant contract was signed between the Ambassador of Japan to Bhutan, Takeshi Yagi, and the Executive Director of Renew. The money will be used for the construction of a vocational training institute at Sisina, Thimphu, for the empowerment of economically and socially vulnerable women. The ambassador said the project is based on the Japanese philosophy of human security and fund is expected to directly benefit the local communities at the grassroots level. He said the project is expected to be complete on time as it is urgent to build the capacity of the vulnerable women in the society. Renew said the grant is timely as it will help the women to strive for economic independence and contribute holistically towards the positive mental well-being of communities and families. The project is expected to be complete within a year. The Vocational Training Institute will have weaving, tailoring and arts and crafts among other activities. The Japanese ambassador also signed a grant contract with Drugso. Drugso received over $84,000 to construct a vocational training center and hostels for children and youth with special needs in Gangneung, Daejeon. The project is expected to improve the educational and living environment of persons with special needs as facilities are limited in Bhutan. With additional information from Ishori Gurung, Sharab Zangmo for BBS News.
After over a decade of service in the eastern Bhutan, Japan International Cooperation Agency has finally closed its project at Vankar in Mongar. In the last over 10 years, the JICA had supported in technical cooperation projects and initiatives in developing agriculture and horticulture in the east.
More than 40 different fruits and vegetables were introduced and established over 700 fruit orchards in the east under the JICA projects. Most of the farmers in the east are now trained with basic technical knowledge in agriculture and horticulture farming. These were some of the achievements under the two projects of Agriculture Research and Extension Project and the Horticulture Research and Development Project. At the closing ceremony yesterday, the chief representative of JICA said it was one of the most successful projects.
JICA remains ever committed to support Bhutan in her development goals. I would like to say now that our president of JICA visited last year and mentioned Bhutan as one of the most successful models of the Japanese cooperation in the whole world.
The closing of JICA assistance wasn't pleasant news for the people in the east. However, the program director explained some of the reasons why it could not continue further.
Although we wish to have the technical cooperation project continue in the region, but there are other things to consider. For example, the technical cooperation projects, as I mentioned earlier, has a time, and I think from JICA's part also, investments have been there for a period of about 14-15 years. It is not very easy to actually justify again continuation of similar programs in the region, and therefore the ministry and we in Vankar, we proposed for the new project to begin in the west central region.
The JICA's similar project will now begin at Bajo in Wandipodang. He added that Vankar will continue doing the similar work with support from the government and other sources, but the center will have greater responsibilities.
For the eastern region, the ministry and the Department of Agriculture has already decided that another program, especially for agriculture development, and most likely I think it is going to be IFAT assistance to the region, will be continued here, and will continue with the field crops as well as the horticulture crops. But the advantage is that Vankar being developed with technical assistance, we are in a better position now to undertake the programs.
For the significant contributions under these projects, some of the officials from both JICA and Bhutanese were awarded National Order of Merit Gold by His Majesty the King. JICA project began since early 2000 in the east. Compiled for Kingatashi in Mongar, Sonam Choden for BBS News.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Forest says Bhutan might take next 2 years to move from subsistence farming to commercial farming. Then only the growth rate of the agriculture sector is expected to increase. At the moment, it is only 2% per year.
Prime Minister Tsing Tobge said the 2% growth rate of agriculture sector per year is not acceptable. He said with 64% of the Bhutanese population depending on agriculture, the growth rate is too low. The marketing division of the Agriculture Ministry says the low growth rate is due to the subsistent nature of farming in the country and limited arable land. The Chief Marketing Officer also shared some other reasons for the low growth rate.
At times we are not able to meet the volume, that the importers or the buyers demand. And then we are still at a very primary stage of, competing in terms of grading and packaging. And then given our terrain and topography, we have difficulties with transportation, which becomes very costly. And then our farming is still, scattered and fragmented.
However, plans are in place to increase the growth rate. The ministry now provides transport subsidy support to curb the transportation issue. Farmers' cooperative movement has also been initiated.
So once we upgrade our commercial farming status, then the agricultural growth rate can increase. Cooperative movement is one of the only solutions to uplift our marginal farmers and mitigate poverty. It becomes very difficult to push individual farmers, and individuals from subsistence to commercial farming. So it is only through collective and cooperative efforts that we are trying to increase our agricultural growth rate and push farmers from subsistence to commercial farming.
There are in total 35 registered farmers' cooperatives across the country. Entering commercial farming is a priority of the ministry. The marketing division of the ministry has also been exploring external markets for export. Right now, India and Bangladesh are the only major markets for the country. Sonam Chudan for BBS News.
Despite the success of some dairy groups in Tashigang, few dairy groups are struggling to survive. Domkar Manthung Om Dechen, a dairy group under Kanglum Geok, is one of them.
Samdup from Tagum village under Kanglum Geok is one of the members of Domkar Manthung Om Dechen, a farmers' dairy group in Kanglum. The group has 40 members. Samdup owns around 8 crossbreed cattle and sells milk to the group. In a month, he used to earn around 3 to 8,000 yutam through the sale of milk.
The price of milk we get from the group is lower than the price we get from the market. But if you sell on our own, we cannot save the money. By selling the milk to the group, we get bulk cash at the end of the month, which is very helpful in paying debt or buying things.
But Samdup's monthly income discontinued suddenly after the group stopped collecting milk from its members nearly 2 months ago. Since its formation in 2009, the group has been facing numerous problems, starting from keeping the members together for milk collection.
The group's biggest challenge is collecting the milk from the members. The members are scattered all over the place. The other problem is we don't have good quality cows. The government helped us in procuring cows from Pemakasal in the past, but the cows are not pure breed.
The
members are not cooperating in bringing the milk to the center. Sometimes they bring the previous day's milk. The government has provided things like milk cans, freezer and churners, but there is no milk to put in those things.
The group is also facing challenges in marketing their milk and milk products due to stiff competition from other dairy groups. In 2013, the group members tried their hand in producing chugo, or the dried cheese from the milk, but it was unsuccessful.
The main reason why this initiative failed was due to problems in collecting milk from the members. The other reason is due to lack of market for the dried cheese, and there were no buyers due to its high price.
At the beginning of this month, the members came together to discuss their group's future prospect. While agreeing to keep the group functioning, members also decided to take loans to buy Jersey cows to improve milk production. Currently, none of the members own Jersey cows. For the time being, Samdup markets his dairy products on his own. But like other members, Samdup is hopeful of the group's success in the future. but lack of cooperation and trust among the group members and management is the biggest challenge for the group. Compiled for Pemanamge in Kanglung, Dikichorin Doji, PBS News.
Well, that is all we have for you this week. Join us again next week for yet another edition of Bhutan This Week. Until then, it is goodbye from me, and I am Sonam Rinchen.